We have an update to a home invasion story we brought you earlier. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, authorities in Joplin charge a man in critical condition for his role in a home invasion. Plus, the friend of the victim in yesterday's homicide in Labette County speaks out. And the Joplin school continues to wrestle with a familiar dilemma: school buses running late.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Labette County investigate a woman's death they say was a homicide. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Elise Noe has more.
On Sunday afternoon around 2:30 p.m., police officials were notified by a hunter about a woman's body that was discovered laying alongside the Farmers Road, a half-mile west of Ness and 20,000 Road. The woman has been identified as Kylie Caldwell of Parsons, who was last seen alive Sunday morning. Caldwell, who was 28, leaves behind 3 sons. Her friend Benita Luton had a special bond with Caldwell and a friendship lasting over a decade.
I met Kylie whenever I was like 13 or 14. I used to go to her grandmother's house with her.
Luton shared memories about Caldwell's joyful spirit.
We just always had fun. It was always enjoyment, always laughter. It was never a dull moment with her.
At this time, the KBI, Labette County Sheriff's Office, and the Parsons Police Department are investigating the homicide.
We're still interviewing people. At this point, we do have a person of interest that we're talking to.
Investigators are still looking for more information, but an arrest could be made soon.
Yeah, hopefully we will have somebody arrested in the next day or so.
As investigators move forward, friends and family of Caldwell are still wondering why.
I just don't understand who or why. All I know is that I hope that whoever did this, they find out who did it.
If you have any information relating to this investigation, call the KBI at 1-800-KS-CRIME.
Well, if you know any information about this crime, you can also send an anonymous tip to kbi.ks.gov/SAR. And we'll keep you updated as this story unfolds. Well, home invasion investigation in Joplin turns into a pair of arrests. It happened about 1:45 this morning. Joplin police responded to reports of a home invasion at 1023 South Moffett Avenue. Police say 31-year-old Alexander Freer and an accomplice broke into the home of Freer's ex-girlfriend and assaulted her boyfriend. They say the victim defended himself with a knife, severely injuring Freer. He is currently in critical condition at the hospital and is now charged with burglary and assault. The second suspect has since been taken into custody. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at your forecast.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Monday, but a warm one. Temperatures, they warmed up into the upper 80s for afternoon highs. 87 is where we topped out. 59 is where we started. 79 is our average high, but really not that far from the record of 90 set back in 1958. All right, 66 Nevada, 70 in Monette, 69 in Miami. We have Fort Scott also at 68. Pretty much clear skies. Not a whole bunch going on here, and we're going to stay fairly calm as we go through about the next 24 hours. Plenty of sunshine once again tomorrow. 67 by 11, down to 63 by 7. Overnight low of 62, back to 75 by 10 a.m. It's going to be a pretty warm week. We're going to look at that and any rain chances here in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. As the UAW strike rolls into its 10th day, workers at the GM plant in Wentzville, Missouri found themselves in the company of lawmakers during a recent rally. John Kipper has the details.
We just want part of the share of the pie. That's all we want.
Bob Dyke, an electrician at the GM plant, says unions have made wages and benefits for all Americans better. If they're able to break through and get what they want, more Americans will also see higher paychecks.
Our wages set the wages for the rest of the middle class.
Sunday, Dyke and his fellow workers welcomed a special guest.
We need to unite and stand up for ourselves.
Inside the UAW Local 2250 Union Hall on Sunday, felt like a campaign rally. or even a sporting event, as hundreds packed into here from the populist congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
We do not pledge allegiance to Wall Street. We do not pledge allegiance to corporate profit. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
Ocasio-Cortez highlighted the pay gap between workers and the CEO, pointing out that the CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, made $29 million last year, and that workers should stand up for large raises she says are due.
Us sticking together breaks up their approach. They don't know what to do when people are unified.
Ocasio-Cortez came to Wentzville along with Representative Cori Bush, both of whom are some of the most liberal members of Congress.
When workers who built the Chevy Colorado can't afford to buy a Chevy Colorado, that's a red flag.
The striking auto workers here and in 19 other states have garnered the support from left-leaning lawmakers like Ocasio-Cortez, Bush, and President Joe Biden, who's visiting Detroit workers this week. But picketers are also finding support in former President Donald Trump and Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, who tweeted last week, "Auto workers deserve a raise."
And regardless of the party that you're with, they see that. These parties are seeing that this labor movement is not going away. We're coming back, and we're coming back strong.
After the speeches were over, Ocasio-Cortez and Bush came somewhere around here on the picket line to join the striking workers. Now, the workers I spoke with says just the mere presence gave them a boost.
It brings the national spotlight to the UAW's plight, to the working class.
As the strike goes longer, the workers continue to talk confidently.
UAW has expanded strikes against General Motors and Chrysler parent Stellantis to 38 parts distribution centers across the United States. The Lutheran Family and Children's Services announced today it is relocating its Joplin office to a new location, and it's inviting the public to the open house. One of the oldest social service agencies in Missouri will relocate to 801 15th Street. To celebrate the move, LFCS will hold an open house on October 11th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For LFCS, the move will mean more space to do what they do best, empower children and families to develop healthy, supportive foundations for life.
Provide parenting education, life skills, support to our families to help them just in everyday life. So from routines, everyday routines, getting their kids ready.
The new space will be 4 times larger than the current LFCS office space. Coming up, Cherokee County threw a baby shower for new parents and newborns. Plus, KOAM's Amber Jenkins takes us to Joplin, where an old problem still needs new solutions.
Sure, there's a lot to say in Quapaw Casino, Miami, Oklahoma.
Cherokee County hosted a community baby shower this afternoon. The event took place at the Crossroads Christian Church in Baxter Springs. Residents of Cherokee County who are currently expecting or have a child through 3 months old could come out to the event for resources and education for new parents and prizes.
So we have tons of home visiting programs, parents as teachers, healthy families, early head start. We have Community Health Center here, Spring River Mental Health, just lots of great resources and opportunities for families to get connected.
My Family connects families to local early childhood programs and resources in Cherokee County, Kansas. Well, parents in the Joplin School District are frustrated that buses are arriving half an hour or more late. It's a story we've been following since the start of the school year. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke with parents about how this is impacting them.
At 3:30, they say the bus is leaving Irving, and 45 minutes later, the bus still was not here.
Joplin students are having to wait for buses after school, sometimes 30 minutes or more. There's a natural bus driver shortage, and the parents of Joplin Eagles are feeling the burden.
Somehow I feel like that's not necessarily my problem. It's my problem to get my child home safely, as it is every parent's, right? There are some parents that aren't as lucky as I am.
I made a joke with her actually when they didn't have school last Monday that it was the first time I didn't receive a notification her bus was going to be late.
After dismissal, some students have to wait at the school until the bus arrives. Parents say this takes time away from other usual after-school activities.
Riding the bus is one of the few times she gets to talk to her friends throughout the day, so even though most days I could go pick her up, she chooses to ride the bus, but then gets frustrated because, she doesn't have a whole lot of time in the evening.
Joplin schools are combating the issue by hiring more drivers and getting them through the training classes efficiently. The transportation director says he's thankful for the patience of the parents.
More drivers. We currently do have 11 drivers going through our training programs, so it is getting better every day.
The training usually takes 3 to 5 weeks depending on the applicant.
We have ads out all over the place asking for people to please apply. We have a recruiter trainer who cold calls individuals every day.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
School officials say they expect the issue to subside soon as new applicants complete the training program. A little later, 2 area powerhouses meet up on the softball field this afternoon. Brock has the highlights of this Tiger's Tale coming up in sports.
Plus, it's going to be a warm week for us weather-wise. We're going to take a look at that coming up.
Rely on our years. We're booking up fast, so click.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warm one for us today. High temps, upper 80s. We pushed record highs as we went into the afternoon hours. And at least the humidity wasn't that bad, so it didn't feel awful. But yeah, it was a little bit warm out there. Nice shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, we got rain last week. We got rain over the weekend. We are going to dry out, but our drought has slowly been getting better. Along the I-44 corridor and south, you're pretty much where you need to be. Southeastern Kansas has gotten better, but still Nevada, El Dorado Springs, Stockton, Yates Center, down towards Sedan, a very severe drought, but we don't really have much of the way of rainfall in the forecast, at least for us this week. All right, lower 80s yesterday, but we did heat up today. We got into the upper 80s for highs. It's still somewhat mild, 68 in Chanute, 70 in Bonita, Neosho at 73, Lamar is sitting at 66 degrees. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline sitting at 70. Pretty much calm winds, visibility's fine. We have mostly clear skies, and that's what we're going to have as we go through the overnight hours tonight. We're going to slide back into the lower 60s, 67 here shortly, back to 75 by 10 o'clock in the morning. We don't have a lot going on, just a few mid and upper level clouds kind of shooting through, but most of the Central Plains is looking good. Can't see the spin up across Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin, and then a weak little front kind of trails back toward Bismarck. That's going to slide toward us in about 36 hours. And what that will do is give us a few clouds and maybe a random shower or two. Let me walk you through the future here. By morning, we're sitting near 60. So nice, comfortable start. Sunshine in the morning, near 80 by the noon hour. Once we get into the afternoon, let's say 4:30 in the afternoon, 86 in Stockton, Miami, 84 at Grand Lake Chanute, at about 86 degrees. Tomorrow night, you can see a few clouds kind of skirt through, a couple random little sprinkles or a random little shower tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Here's 5 o'clock in the morning and a random sprinkle or shower as we go through Wednesday morning. Most of you are going to stay dry. Wednesday afternoon is shaping up pretty good. Temps into the mid to upper 80s, and then we'll go into Thursday morning starting into the mid 60s. Temperatures fairly warm all week long, 63 to start, 81 by noon, high temp tomorrow of 87 degrees. And the reason it is warm is because we have this big ridge of high pressure. It really digs in all the way into the weekend. So we're looking at Saturday. Now, as we get into next week, we'll start to get this storm system working out toward us, and what that will do is kind of cool us down a little bit, but also give us chances for showers and thunderstorms back in the forecast. Until then, pretty boring. 87 tomorrow, 86 on Wednesday, random sprinkle. 88s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, cooling off slowly next week. Some rain chances by Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
And I'm glad we can do the 10-day so we can see that it's cooling down.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, it's a pretty warm stretch,
I know.
especially because we're almost in October.
I know, yeah. My AC was getting a nice break, so
there you go.
Unfortunately, we'll crank it back up. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, infrastructure funding from the Biden administration makes its way to the 4 states. U.S. Department of Transportation announced today that it has invested $46.9 million into 2 rail improvement projects in the Sunflower State. One project involves conversion of 8 non-regulated locomotives into fully battery-powered units. Another project joins funding from Monette, Missouri for grade crossing improvements. Now, Southwest Missouri will also receive more than $12 million, and Arkansas will receive $11 million for a project that runs into Oklahoma. Still ahead, we hear from the Missouri Southern football team in their weekly press conference. Plus, a local softball high schooler throws a no-hitter. We'll have the highlights coming up next in sports.
Nominate a KOAM News Now pit.
Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Well, the Missouri Southern Lions are off to a 3-1 start after their 42-0 win on Saturday. It was the Lions' first shutout win since 2013. Missouri Southern is 3-1 to begin the season this year, and the question now is, what's different about this year's 3-1 team compared to last year?
I think the biggest difference between this game and the previous games is not only did they start fast, they were able to maintain that consistency and kind of put them away. So very, very proud of the effort. We made plays in the kicking game. We made plays on offense. We made plays on defense. It was a total team win that required everybody that had a helmet to get in there and pitch in and get it done.
It all goes back into coaching. It all comes down to how hard we practice. I like to say that, we really take practice to a whole nother level this year, and we understand that this is a do or die mentality, and that we really have to come out here and perform. And I think that's the biggest difference on why we've been performing the way we have been.
Let's take a look at the latest AFCA's coaches poll. Not much movement compared to last week. There are 3 MIAA schools in the top 25. Pittsburgh State still in there at number 3. Emporia State stays put at number 11. Only movement in the MIAA this week is Central Missouri went from 25 to 21. And then Missouri Western's in there and the outside looking in, but still received votes. Earlier this morning, the MIAA announced their schedule for the College Basketball Media Day. The event will take place on Tuesday, October 10th, the College Basketball Experience in downtown Kansas City. Of course, Pittsburgh State and the Missouri Southern Lions will be there. So will we. Both men's and women's basketball coaches from each school will speak. Pitt State's Amanda David and Jeff Boschee are scheduled to speak at 1 p.m. and then just after that, 1:15 p.m. Missouri Southern's Ronnie Russell and Sam McMahon will be there to answer questions. Like I said, me and sports director John Dales will be there in attendance. We'll have coverage from this event right here on KOAM Tuesday on October the 10th. Well, softball season is winding down in the state of Missouri, but this afternoon we have one of the top teams in the Big 8 facing one of the top teams in the COC. Tigers versus Tigers, Nevada and Carthage. Start things off in the top of the first inning in this one. This ball is going to be hit deep to left field. Elizabeth Willis is there to make the great catch. Throw into second is a little bit off the line, so the runner, Kara Phillips, is going to come home to score. She is safe, so after all of that, the sac fly 1-0 Nevada. Next batter, Skylar Burns, goes opposite field. That ball finds grass and goes to the fence. Peyton Eaton will score. RBI double. Nevada leads it 2-0. Defensively in the circle, Peyton Eaton was rolling in this one. Strikeout there in the first. She gets the next batter on a swing and a miss. Then in the third inning, she gets the call. Strikeout, and then Eaton's defense backs her up as Kara Phillips makes a great catch in center field. Peyton Eaton throws a no-hitter, finishes with 9 strikeouts. The Nevada Tigers beat the Carthage Tigers 4-0. In the Kansas City Chiefs improved to 2-1 on the season after their dominating 41-10 win over the Chicago Bears. Of course, the big story in this game is Taylor Swift was in the crowd cheering on Travis Kelce. Kelce finished the game with 7 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. Here's what Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes had to say about the Swift and Kelce connection.
Yeah, she's a tremendous, she's a pop star. She's a tremendous singer, tremendous at everything she does, and I haven't got to meet her. But I mean, I guess if she ends up being with Travis, then I'll probably get to meet her at some point. So seems like a good person. So hopefully I get to meet her one day. Yeah, but he told me at like the last minute. But there's some things with Trav where he kind of just says it, and you're like, you don't know if it's true or not.
You know what? I've met her before. Adam, I set him up. I just leave you with it.
Like that comment. Some things about Trav things that he says, you don't know if they're true or not.
No, we don't
Well,
know.
she showed up, so this one's true.
Right, we don't know if they're true, but we do know something that is true. The Big 12 basketball schedule is expected to be released tomorrow.
Ooh.
So any KU, K-State fans excited for that? I know there's a couple of KU fans here that might be excited for that.
So is it the Big 12
Big
schedule
12
or the Big
schedule.
16 schedule?
Oh, you know, it could be the Big 16. It's still called the Big 12, so we'll go with that for now, but maybe one day it could be the Big 20.
Goodness. Why not? Put them all in the same. All right, that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Almost any great meal starts with a great piece of
Kenneth Price, a four-state hero.
Well, tonight we bring you some news you can sink your teeth into. Now, many people had a beef with Oscar Mayer changing the name of its iconic vehicle to the Frankmobile. Now, Oscar Mayer announced the name change to pay tribute to its all-beef Franks and its new recipe. But for many, like me, the news took a real bite out of their childhood. Well, least you think the worst would come to pass. The Wienermobile is back, and for fans of the classic name, they can relish the news.
I hate relish.
Oh, well, I'm sure Chiefs fans are relishing in this whole Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. Just something to talk about. Just some gossip here and there.
Yeah, you don't care at all, do you?
Oh, I kind of do.
My question is, when are we going to get Swift jerseys?
Oh, my.
So you have a,
They'll be broke up in a month.
swift look at the final forecast?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Temperatures mainly into the upper 80s over the next several days. May get a sprinkle on Wednesday.
All right, final sports now.
Like we said, Swift and jerseys. Travis Kelce's jersey, according to reports on TMZ, his jersey's up 400%. So jersey sales looking up for both the Swelsies.
Oh, gosh.
Got to have that nickname.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.